We're Nerd Cult Online, and this is the Grimm Tales pinball table on Pinball Fx from Zen Studios. Now, the Grimm Tales table is essentially going through many of the classic Brothers Grimm fairy tales, like Little Red Riding Hood, actually, I'm drawing a complete blank. That's the only one that's coming to mind off the top of my head. But I know that there are a ton of them. And I remember finding odd growing up is that typically when you hear about fairy tales, they're definitely very cheerful and pleasant stories, kind of meant to entertain children. But from what I remember of the original Grimm fairy tales, some of them happen to be quite grim, pun intended. And so, going into this table, I was hoping for a little bit more of that. Now, with what we did experience on the table, it wasn't so much grim. I mean, it was what I assume is some sort of evil witch, but there's nothing monstrous or deadly hiding in the stories. And so that might be something that pops up later on that we have yet to reach, but that definitely is what I was hoping for here. Now, I do like the overall look and feel of the table. It definitely feels like a lot of those classic stories like Hansel and Gretel, which I believe is also one of them. Since we got the gingerbread house, and with the witch on the side, I'm guessing that's probably the Hansel and Gretel witch. And so you're going in and essentially trying to trigger different stories and go through them, and maybe help the characters find a happy ending. Unfortunately, weren't able to actually finishing the stories either as we were going, but the table itself definitely is a great looking table. Love the attention to detail. Zen really knocks them out of the park when it comes to the quality of their tables and just how much life they breathe into them. And so going through and trying to work on some of the stories and stuff definitely was a lot of fun. As far as the missions are concerned, just had a lot of bad luck. Kept losing the ball and losing the story because of it. And so, definitely looking forward to seeing what stories we can actually trigger in the game, and what their effects are on the table. But again, overall, I definitely think that the quality of the table is high up there. The enjoyment factor, I would say, if I had to give it a number score, I'd probably put it like maybe a 7. Just because it's not an absolutely amazing table, but it's definitely not bad either. It leaves you wanting to see what other stories are there and trying to complete them, so you can see the ends of the stories and what that does to the table, and what else you can unlock along the way. And you definitely don't have a lot of concerns again as far as the more monstrous Grimm tales are concerned, again from what I've seen, but I wouldn't expect that would be the case. With what I've seen of the table, I definitely feel that this is one that you can play with the kids as well. And again, overall, we found it enjoyable, but it definitely had a little bit to be desired. I'm hoping that we see the table come back as a Pinball M title going for the darker tails as well, and showing what some of those tails are all about, and how dark they can actually really be. Here I triggered the crystal multi-ball, which got the witch flying around, and honestly I'm not even really certain how I did it. I know that there's some locks that you can drop the ball in order to trigger it, but it wasn't one of those multi-balls that I intentionally hit. But I do love the color change on the ball for the event. I think that there should be some ball skin options like that to be like a permanent fixture. But overall, a good, enjoyable table.